What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we are testing Tesla's full self-driving beta version 8.2. We are due for an update from version 9, which is set to be a total game changer, huge improvement, wider rollout for the software. So I wanted to say goodbye to this version and this era and moment in history that is version 8.2 of Tesla software. This visualization is probably going to go away. It's going to get way better. So I thought, what better way to document this process than to do one last ride. And it is raining a little bit too, or it was pouring rain like a minute ago. Now it's not, so just got to test it in all weather, Fun fact, the windshield wipers are also run by the autopilot AI. I don't have to turn those on. I think Tesla owners know about that feature. But yeah, this is going to be really interesting. We're going to have to go right and then a left here. I mean, these are totally unmarked lanes. The car's doing great. Great job, Tesla. I mean, that guy was totally just randomly chilling in the middle of the road and just like, who knows? I think he started driving when we showed up because it was like, what is he even doing? But the Tesla totally handled that. This is fascinating. And now he's letting us pull over and wow, honestly, Hypership crushing it. And I mean, if this is how good the neural net is still in this super beta phase, I mean, it just makes me so excited for what the potential update looks like. And now I'm going to give him a little bit of electrons there. This is still on autopilot though, but that is the one input that you can do is where you actually give it a little bit of juice there. I think it got freaked out by that guy doing that thing. And now here we go. It's doing its thing. Wow. No disengagement. That was a tricky turn. Well done. So now it's slowing down below the speed I have it set up, getting ready for this very sharp turn. Well done, actually. Ooh, is it gonna miss did it miss the turn? Oh no, I always mess up this turn. So the fact that autopilot's getting it right now, this is actually a huge underrated thing. Like when you're a human, you don't realize how much you're doing between looking at directions and actually driving the car. If you're going somewhere you don't know where you're going, like all of us remember printing out MapQuest, right? Like, and then you had to have this piece of paper that told you where to turn. You're trying to read, like having the navigation built in and just the car know where you're going. I didn't realize before how many wrong turns I made. Like it's obvious, like of course humans make wrong turns now and then, don't navigate perfectly, but you don't really notice it until there's so many times the car, it's like, oh, I like that turn right there where it did the second loop. I always mess that up. I would have done the first loop and gone the wrong way. So just another example of how, wow. And just navigating with several pedestrians right there, but being cognizant enough to just go because it had a window, not being too cautious. I don't know. I feel like I don't know what's going on right now. I'm going to triple check that I have version 8.2 when this is all done because this is I feel like the car is killing it.
And we're going this really funny way.
Check creeping. So now, is it going to try right on red now? I kind of hope it doesn't. I guess that was kind of a good move though. It waited, then it saw those guys are going. Sees that pedestrian. So this is my biggest fascination, and there was a little bit of a leak, which I'll put. Oh my God. Okay, so now I think, wow. Whoa. Okay, so that was disengagement. All right, so we do have one disengagement. I think it could have done it there. I just should have given it electrons at the right time. So that was the first disengagement. And I think if you do have FSD Beta, I've been trying to think a little bit more about my disengagements and sort of track them a little bit better, because I think that is really interesting, and that is the metric to track. If we're, talking about this full self-driving, what's the data? How many interventions per mile or per ride or per minute of driving? And how many times, I guess, do we have to accelerate with the electron? Like, there's also, there is a major driving shortage. I don't know if y'all have been reading about it, but both Uber and Lyft are like really struggling to recruit drivers. If you try and get an Uber or Lyft nowadays, it's like impossible to get one. And so I think that's really interesting. And it's like the Tesla network, this self-driving technology couldn't come soon enough. We're in a massive, we don't have enough drivers. People don't want to drive cars. They don't want to do ride sharing. We are like, the simulation is ready to outsource this. wow, this is weird. There's like a weird drip coming from the bridge, and we just killed it, and then my autopilot wipers came on. I mean, that was epic. But yeah, my point is I think this is, you know, I was thinking more and more, it's like, oh, you know, this is going to compete with Uber. We'll have cheaper, better, cleaner, safer Ubers. That's awesome, right? But then I was thinking more and more like, wait, now nobody's even driving Uber. If I can't get an Uber, you forget how hard it is to get around cities. I mean, Uber and Lyft, as much as I clown on them for their business model, were incredible innovations. Like, I used it all the time as a customer. And so now that Uber and Lyft, the quality and usefulness of that service is falling off of a cliff, the incentives just aren't there, that marketplace is sort of crumbling, we need an alternative to get around. And so that's why I'm pumped that this technology is getting better. And I think, you know, as much as Tesla's this EV, you know, luxury electric vehicle brand, you know, it really is a ride sharing company at the end of the day when you think about it from this full self-driving equation. And so the ride sharing piece of the business, full self-driving Tesla network, is really where the trillions of value could come in, and hundreds of miles driven with tens and tens of millions of people. That's all in this robo-taxi self-driving network. And so you know, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's never been a bigger need for it. And I mean, I haven't disengaged here. This is really, I mean, this is a middle of the lane towing. I'm gonna have to, I don't think this should count as a disengagement. Like, we're gonna have to count that because I did disengage, but like, come on guys, that was, FSD is incredible. Okay, unmarked Seattle street. See, I don't see a stop sign right now. It sees a stop sign. I have no idea where that stop sign is. Like, just another example of how the computer's vision outside the car, like, I just keep coming, the more and more you experience the self-driving, the more and more you have this conviction that, like, it's ridiculous the way we drive today. Like, it's so unsafe. We're so distracted. We have these 2 cameras here, which aren't perfect, which, you know, some people have really good cameras. Some people have really bad cameras. My cameras are getting worse by the day. I need glasses. You know, and there's obstruction blocking my cameras versus this 8 cameras approach that see everything. And I'm looking at my Tesla and people are like, oh, you know, that's crazy cars. But it's like, dude, like, this saw a stop sign 500 feet ahead that I couldn't see with its 8 eyes. So it's not even just on paper that's like, oh, the Tesla might be way safer. Like, when you start dabbling with the FSD Beta, and I will say, like, I don't use FSD. Wow, it is crushing it here with these cones. Well done, Tesla. Oh, Hypership, crushing it right there. So to be honest, like, after having it a month, do I use FSD all the time? Like, frankly, no. Like, I definitely use it sometimes, but driving around urban Seattle, like, autopilot is really good on the highway, but driving around urban Seattle, like, and I'm always late, right? Like, I'm always late. So I'm always trying to get somewhere in a rush. And I think if you're right now, autopilot and FSD, I would say it's probably safer than me in a lot of ways, despite the disengagements, because it'll just go really, really slow, but it's way, way slower than me. So if I want to get somewhere and I'm kind of like in a rush, I don't use it. I'm just being honest. But if I'm just kind of chilling and yeah, so I mean, what I'm trying to say, frankly, is like, I don't know if this feature alone is good enough to where it's like, oh, this is so dope, I'm gonna use it all the time. Like, I think it's kind of there, and it is really great and convenient to use in some tiny situations. Whoa, great job, great job. I just freak out. See, sometimes like there I freak out, but yeah, and so I don't know, but I think we're so close, I can feel it. And so it's really interesting to be a customer and see, like, okay, how much am I gonna use it now with V9? Is this gonna be something that I turn on all the time now? You know, that's what I'm personally waiting for. Is he gonna try and pass this and get gutsy? I mean, this is a really gutsy move. Actually, I guess it's not gutsy because it sees way ahead. Whoa. Okay, I think that was just me disengaging it there. That would have been fine. But I just freaked out a little. I don't know. Sometimes that happens. Oh well. And like, that was another situation where I could have easily disengaged it. And like, it wouldn't have been a problem. I just drove around the truck way ahead of time, but I'm just kind of testing it for the sake of testing it. And I don't think anybody was behind me then, so just kind of wanted to test it. Okay, this is gonna be a little tricky. I'm just assuming this is gonna be tricky because this intersection stresses me out as a normal driver. Or this move that the Tesla's doing here, like you do this left, and then you kind of gotta get in here and go right. I mean, this is like speaking of like, you know, me always getting lost, like this is definitely, like, dude, I mean, this is incredible. And it's just all about the pace of innovation. Like, this is where it is today, and tech just keeps getting better. This is just gonna keep improving. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I think Tesla's gonna do it. Like, this is why I really think we're like, you know, a year or so away from truly Tesla building a self-driving car that's like 10 times safer than a human. Not saying regulators will approve it by then, but I think that that's where the software will be by then. Because I mean, I can just feel it. I mean, look at this, is incredible. Look at this. And now we're gonna have to get in this. Is it gonna pull this off right here? This is tricky. Come on, come on, come on. I think it would have done it, but I just wanted to do it there, so. I think that's 4 interventions so far. Arguably, like, half of them weren't needed, though. Is it gonna figure... Wow, see, look at that. Figured out its lane. Oh, my God. No, I don't. Got a little confused. I mean, this is just a confusing one because that's only a that turn, and we need to make a left, but a different left. And this is also that it thought it was the right turn lane. And so anyway, you get what happens there. But... And this is, you know, and on some end, I'm like, yeah, in a year, I think this will be good enough to pretty much drive itself and be super useful. Actually, and I think this used to be a normal light, but now it's not a normal light. It's a weird stop sign, so I don't know, I'm gonna give it a pass. But then it's also like, well, if we're gonna do a robo-taxi, like it needs to have figured all of this out, right? Because it's literally not gonna have anyone else. Or do they have like a Tesla guy with sort of like a walkie-talkie or, you know, a remote control that can just control the car and just take over with like a steering wheel in a seat, but in some remote office, and just take over the car, looking at the cameras if it gets stuck? I don't know. I think that's definitely seems like a possible solution. I think there are a lot of self-driving companies going that route, but Tesla seems very stubborn and stuck, you know, in a dope way on this. It has to be fully self-driving. It has to be true level 5 self-driving autonomy. That is what we're going for, nothing else. A car has to be on a road it's never been on before, maybe even having a new situation pop up, but the neural net, literally the simulated artificial intelligence brain that Tesla's created, will be able to have seen enough situations and be well trained enough to navigate that any situation at least statistically better, way statistically better than a human driver. I mean, this is mind-blowing. This is mind-blowing. The fact that they like let me, like just the way that all of this works, like this is the coolest, most high-tech experiment, and it's just like happening. Elon Musk and his like most elite coders in the world he can find are just coding this insane stuff for my spaceship to drive itself, and then like they send it out to a couple thousand people. So now I have this software, like, and I'm testing it in the wild on the road. Like, it's just so, it feels, every time I get on FSD and turn it on, like I feel like I'm part of history, and like just like this really special, exciting, sort of inspiring feeling that like the future's here and it's fucking awesome. And I don't know, I love it. I love it. I gotta say, I have been extremely impressed with this ride, because every single intervention, and I'm gonna have to look back at the tape, I guess, but every single intervention on this ride has been like, I pushed it, and it would have been very easy for me to like I would say this is like a value add ride. Like every single intervention I've had while driving so far has been something where I just like pushed it too far, and it was a situation that I could have seen way ahead of time, was just gonna be a headache for the FSD, and I could have just, you know, done it myself, but I was kind of pushing it, and even so, we got 4. So my point being is here, this is a value add drive. Like I almost feel like, you know, the FSD was awesome here. It made the drive easier, it made it less stressful, it was doing most of the work a lot of the time, it knew where to go in kind of a complicated route. So to me, this was a super value add, despite the fact that when I come up to some, you know, recycling truck, which happens, that's just stopped in the middle of the road, I have to swerve it around. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm literally, you're seeing these edge cases, and one by one, how Tesla's progressively knocking it out, and it's just, so, and most of the country and most of the world, I think, would be less complicated than this, frankly. I think better road markings. A lot of the roads I've been driving on don't have great road markings. And just less traffic. I mean, Seattle's not that big of a city, but it is a big city to some degree. Come on, gonna have to get this in the lane change. Oh, sorry. Gonna do the lane change. So this is one of the funny parts, is it's gonna get me really close to the supercharger, but it won't plug me into the supercharger and start charging itself. So you all know Elon had the snake charger, which is this, see, like, it'll get me right here, and then the supercharger's in there, so now I gotta go in there. All right, fully charged up. Let's do this. I'm giving it like a totally wild card situation right now, which is it could drive into the lake or pull a Yui and get us to where we need to go. Ooh, or go this way. Wow, okay, checkmate. Good job, Hypership. Dude, the Tesla's killing it. I mean, you've been watching. I've just been saying wow, and like every 2 seconds. I mean, the Tesla, this is the piece of technology that Tesla and Elon and the team have shipped here. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like this. I'm not driving a car. I am controlling a spaceship right now, and it is doing 95% of the work, and that is the status quo. And we're on the cusp of this getting so much better and disrupting so many different industries and the way we work and the way cities work, and just, I don't know. I love sharing it with y'all. Traffic, yay! So as you can see, I'm gonna cut out no interventions from this drive. We're doing it for science. I'm gonna show y'all everything that happened in this footage. So you're gonna see, I think so far we've had about 6 interventions in the drive there and back so far. So yeah. Not a disengagement. Let's just go into this dope park. All right, there you have it, folks. Tesla FSD Beta, goodbye version 8.2. Wanted to take y'all along for me with this ride. I mean, this is... Oh. Am I gonna have to leave that in the video? All right. Oh, damn. Minor rim rash. I mean... Oh, shit. For science, though. All right, let's try. Oh, my God. All right, so FSD Beta version 8.2. As you can see, definitely still in beta. Still a work in progress. But, I mean, this is an unbelievable piece of technology. I love being a beta tester. I mean, huge shout out to the team that's working on this. This is just the cutting edge of artificial intelligence, you know, working its way into the simulation. And it is, I feel like I'm on the front lines of just what is poised to change the world and keep improving and keep getting better, and just be this incredible piece of technology to be a part of. Really tricky roads right now, so and yeah, it hasn't been disengaging. It's been, you know, doing its little wiggle, but yeah, this is a pretty incredible test right here. Like, you know, we're out here. So much beautiful greenery in Seattle. I mean, love it. Doing it in the name of science. I mean, that's what it takes to be an FSD beta tester. Really got to put the hypership on the line. Proud of it though.